Does anyone else just randomly pick new fitness goals to do? Mine for this month is training for handstands. So today in my calisthenics 30-day blast journey, which I'm probably going to do longer with it, because can you really see results from a program in 30 days? Not really, but it's fun to do. 30 is a good number. It's fun to watch. So we are going to do some handstand training today. And I'm probably going to do this like 2 or 3 times a week as well. So I'm going off script. This isn't necessarily a how-to video or something, clickbaity fitness guru, fitness influencer type deal. It's just raw footage of me training the handstand here. And I'm doing a tucked version on the wall. I'm sure you've seen a few minutes of that already. And yeah, it was a challenge. So the cue is to stand tall, just like you would an overhead press. So you're cueing the traps up, not depressed. So in a standing overhead barbell, the finish of the movement, if you're going to complete the full rep, is you're reaching for the ceiling. So that elevates your traps and scapula. So you're reaching, standing tall, just like you would with the handstand. It's the same cue. Now, for me, since I still weigh about 215, that's still more than what I can overhead press with a bar. I only got to 200 with a bar. So my body weight with these is pretty formidable. So anyone starting a handstand journey, like I'm an intermediate, I don't know, fitness influencer. Not really a bodybuilder anymore. I don't compete. Not a powerlifter. Not a strongman. I'm not technically a calisthenics athlete. I don't know if there's even pro ones of those. But I'm just a fitness enthusiast. And I like trying everything. I'm not married to one style or training complex or method. I don't think anyone should be. I used to be pretty dogmatic about stuff. Anyway, getting a little metaphysical and esoteric here. Back to the training, right? That's what we're talking about here. So the training was I'm doing a tuck. I'm trying to be hollow body, trying to reach with my hands, really get that extend, trying to get stacked. Your bones and your joints should be stacked on one another. That's where your best structure is going to be with the handstand. Some other accessories I was doing was a yoga position called the crane. And so the crane is where you're in the handstand position, but a little less stacked. So your arms are bent, shoulders are bent, your elbows are back into your sides, but you're training that balance and coordination without having your legs in the air. So the crane movement, I think, is a good accessory. I haven't done any real research yet on the best modality or progression with handstanding is. I've gotten some good articles, and a lot of people have given me some good information about them. I just haven't dived too deep in them yet. And that's the good news about being an intermediate when it comes to training is, once you learn fundamentals of anything, of any skill, you can plug them in anywhere else and you're pretty much fine. Any realm of study has its fundamentals, and then, if you find yourself outside of a scope of something, you can just go back to those fundamentals and plug them in, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to work. But if it doesn't, you have stuff to fall back on. Anyway, that's the good news about me having a whole background in being strong already. I can jump some progressions a little bit, and I trust my own body, essentially. So maybe someone starting out with handstand push-ups is probably slowly getting their feet up the wall. I can already do some tucked stuff with one leg on the wall, and I felt pretty comfortable and strong there. So that's why I did it like that. You're probably thinking, oh, he's doing the progressions wrong or whatever. And all right, I don't care. I'm just gonna do it my way, like everything else I've ever done in my life. So followed up that with pike press. That's an essential movement to get your handstand push-up stronger if you want to do that. Followed up with push-ups, of course. I kind of went down this time, so vertical body all the way to horizontal training, pressing. That's where I went with that. The push-ups were okay. I've always had a terrible time doing push-ups. They just suck, man. They just remind me of boot camp style training. It's like, oh gosh, man, push-ups. Oh man. It comes to a point where you've done so many, you're just like, I hate getting back on the grind to do them. But you do them. I do them. You should do what you hate. It's the obstacle is the way. Ryan Holiday would say that. Whatever training you don't like is hardest, you probably ought to be doing it. I'll get off my soapbox and high horse here. And then I followed up with calisthenics pull-ups here. Now, if you haven't been following me, or you just happen to be on browser on YouTube and you found this video and you're just now watching me, you're going to be like, dude, your pull-up form is crap. You need to go all the way down. And I would invite you to watch some of my past videos where I have like 5 different videos explaining why I'm doing pull-ups the way I'm doing them. Recommend you watch there, but I'll touch on it briefly since you're here, and I appreciate you. So the way I'm doing pull-ups is middle of the range of motion, because that's where I feel my lat doing the most contribution. If I go all the way down, I feel it in my elbow and bicep tendons. And if I go all the way up, I get some creaking and cracking in my shoulder. So I go just to about where I'm locked out, and then I come up just slightly below where I feel some popping in my shoulder. Now, popping doesn't hurt. I'm sure I need to look at it, but I'm not going to. But that's where my pull-ups are. And I do train the bottom position just in dead hangs, okay? I just don't like doing full range of motion of pull-ups these days, just based on how my body works. And I'm sure people in their 30s will agree with me there, that you have to do what your body allows you to do, okay? Now, it doesn't mean I'm saying don't work on your flexibility or don't work on ranges of motion where you're weak. I'm not saying that. I'm saying while you're training, you need to do stuff that's essentially pain-free. That way you can keep going. It's the fundamental of it's a marathon, not a sprint. Find what works with your body, train it, stimulate it, don't annihilate it, and hit it hard. That's the fundamental. That's why I do pull-ups the way I do. Again, I'm getting ranty or whatever. Again, don't have a script. I'm just going for it. Just talking about my training today. I finished up with those, and I did one set where I did go all the way down, or all the way down, and then did hanging leg raises in between. So I maybe got like three or 4 reps of those. I mean, that's on par with me. I mean, I got big legs, man. Like abs calisthenics is challenging at the moment. Again, not an excuse. I'm just talking out loud. I know where my limitations and challenges are, and it just comes down to, if you've been a powerlifter or done strength training, you're going to have bigger, roomier hips, and that means your calisthenics at first is going to be dog do. Calling it like I see it. All the calisthenics guys that do really cool stuff, I'm sorry, but their legs are not that big. Fight me on it. Your legs may be strong. You can do pistols and stuff like that, but they're just not. They don't have the weight to them like my legs have. You'll like you saw in the crane videos and handstand videos. Like I got some mass down there. It does not help your skilled calisthenics moves. But that's really all I have to say on my training today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, do appreciate if you got this far, man. Like, again, no real script to this video today, but definitely appreciate you guys. I'm out.